This is Larry. Larry has been training hard, putting in the work, and doing what he thinks will make him jump higher. However, his vertical hasn't increased in months. Sound familiar? If you're watching this video, you're probably Larry and you're probably in a plateau. If you don't do anything about it, you're gonna stay in that plateau. But don't worry, in this video, I'm gonna go through the likely reasons on why you're in a plateau and how to fix it. First, let's talk about why plateaus even happen. When you first start training, there's something that your body goes through which is called an alarm reaction. This is basically your fight or flight response. In the first few stages of training, you're probably gonna notice a lot of initial soreness, but it'll go away as your body adapts. And once your body adapts, once the fatigue dissipates, you're gonna notice a pretty significant increase in your vertical. But over time, as you continue to get more experience with training, your body stops reacting as significantly because it's already adapted to the training load. This is called the principle of diminishing returns. The better you get at something, the harder it is to see progress. For example, going from 25 inches to 30 inches is a lot easier than going from 35 to 40 inches. The higher you jump and the more training you accumulate under your belt, the more training and intensity is required to jump even higher. Now let's break down the real reasons on why athletes stop seeing progress and how to fix that. Reason number one, you're doing the same things over and over again. If you've been doing the same vertical jump workouts and exercises for months and months, then don't expect to see a change. You might have seen some really good progress at first with that workout, which is why you continue to keep doing it over and over again. But you saw that progress because you were a far worse athlete before than you are now. You're a much better athlete now, one that has already adapted to the stimuli that this workout has elicited. So continuing to do the same workout you've been doing for months is gonna do nothing for you physiologically. I get it, repetition feels safe, but here's the truth. This is the main reason your vertical is stuck. Think of it like trying to build muscle. If you lift the same weight every time, your muscles stop being challenged and stop growing. The same goes for your vertical. If you're doing the same jump workouts, same thing. You're not providing the variety that your body requires to jump even higher and see more progress. This is where the principle of progressive overload comes in. In order to continue improving, you need to gradually increase the intensity, volume, and/or variety in your training. So what should you do? Change it up. Simple as that. Reason number two, you're not allowing for adequate recovery. No pain, no gain, right? Wrong. Too much training without proper recovery could be just as harmful as not training at all. Many athletes fall into the trap of constantly pushing harder and harder without giving their bodies enough time to recover. This is overtraining, where you're pushing to the point of chronic fatigue, which will actually decrease your performance long term. If this is you, you'll enter a state where fatigue and muscle breakdown are at an all-time high, so the body just can't recover properly. So if you keep training hard with chronic fatigue, you're just gonna dig yourself into a deeper hole. If you're someone who's been training for a long time and you're giving yourself minimal to no time to rest, you're feeling lethargic, your performance is down, your mood is down, and it's been like this for a while, then you might have been overtraining. What you want to be doing is overreaching. This is where you're gonna notice short-term fatigue from high-intensity training. You'll notice some slight decreases in performance, which is normal, but it'll only take a few days or a few weeks for fatigue levels to go back to normal and for you to supercompensate in your performance. Supercompensate meaning your performance is going higher than baseline levels. For example, you're at a 30-inch vertical, you've been training hard for a couple months, fatigue is at an all-time high, performance is low, you allow yourself to deload or taper off, fatigue dissipates, performance is even higher than baseline levels, and now you're at a 33-inch vertical. How do you overreach properly without overtraining? By knowing about periodization and how to structure your training. Train in high intensity cycles and allow for periods of recovery. And the best way to do that is to hop on Get Up Vertical. This year already, I helped a 32-year-old athlete get his first dunk in 10 years while losing 20 pounds. This 5'9" guy tests 40 inches for the first time ever, and this guy get his first 10-foot dunk off the dribble. And I've helped hundreds of athletes get healthier, jump higher, and overall increase their performance. So I'll take care of the programming stuff for you. I'll help you overreach properly. I'm currently doing 55% off on your first month on Get Up and a free 7-day trial to train and be coached by me. You have 7 days to try out my full access coaching and training to see how you'd like it, because I'm that confident in what I do and I'm that confident in helping you out. So if you want personalized training, 24/7 messaging and coaching from me, accountability, and so much more, then apply for Get Up with the link in my description. I'm only taking serious athletes. If you're not serious, don't sign up. Reason number three, you're not tracking your progress properly. You can't progress if you don't know where to progress from. If you're not tracking your workouts, then I'm sorry, you're not gonna go anywhere. Relying on how you feel on a certain day to determine your intensity and your training will keep you in that plateau. Measure and track your lifts. I can't emphasize this enough. Meaning, jot down how much weight you did for a certain exercise, for how much volume, for what tempo, and what depth. And do that for every single exercise, for every single workout. Tracking your progress gives you a clear guideline of how to progressively overload. You might be able to remember your numbers short term, but as you accumulate much more training, it'll be impossible to do that without keeping track. Without tracking the data, you won't be able to fully tell what weight to go up to, and if you're actually improving or not. Your strength numbers might actually be increasing, but you won't know without tracking. Or your vert might have actually increased, but you think you're in a plateau because you've never tested or measured, and you don't know the heights you've touched before. You can't reach your destination without knowing where you're starting from. Tracking progress is the roadmap. Reason number 4, you don't think you're making progress, but you are. If you've been training for a while, you're advanced in training and lifting, you're probably not going to see much progress and you probably think you're in a plateau. But here's the truth, you're still improving, just not at the rate you were when you first started. There's a very unscientific term called newbie gains, which is something we all go through. This basically means that the rate of development is a lot higher in beginners starting out their training. But as they become more advanced, those gains slow down because they've already adapted to the training stress. If you've been training for years, your body has already undergone through so much adaptation, meaning that any improvements that happen now are going to be so much smaller and so much harder to notice. As an advanced athlete and lifter, your sensitivity to adaptation is much lower than when you first started. In simpler terms, your body doesn't react as dramatically to training once it's already gotten used to it. So the progress may seem minimal or even non-existent, but as long as you know you're training properly with the necessary progressions, intensity, specificity, and all that stuff, then you're still improving. And if you're experienced in training, you 100% know about this. So if you're just finding out about this, about diminishing returns, and you think, oh, I'm not in a plateau, I'm just an advanced athlete. You're probably not an advanced athlete. You're probably not experienced in training and you need to train more. But if this is you, find ways to look at the smaller wins. Your technique feels better maybe. You have slightly higher flight times. You have a 5-pound PR in a squat. All of these things are small and won't individually increase your vertical, but it'll all add up as you keep accumulating all these small wins to a couple inches on your vertical, eventually. And that's probably why your vertical is not improving. Keep all of those reasons in mind when training. If this is not you, you're currently seeing a lot of progress in your vertical, you'll eventually go through this. But don't worry, 100% of us go through it too. But to put it simply, if you're in a plateau, you got to do something different to the body so that the body has something new to adapt to. Keep adjusting your training, keep training hard, and most importantly, keep staying consistent. Consistency compounds and can be the sole driver of getting you out of that plateau. And if you want to progress even faster, hop on GetUp for 55% off your first month. All right, later.